But however, I have to pee. Excuse me
Yeah,
if
that's
I
fine.
can't go on.
But
Sorry.
Roberto, and it's me. What happened to comedy between, say, even 30 years ago and today, where we can't joke about anything anymore without somebody getting offended? Back then, you can make fun of yourself and laugh. Now,
Yeah.
you can't say anything. What happened?
Look, I think obviously we see how the deterioration of society has really sort of we sort of regressed a lot. Look, comedy is one of those sacred things, right? So when comedy is attacked in society and censored, that's one of the last pillars, right? In terms of you could say free speech. So when that really happens, that we're in big trouble. Comedy sort of has regressed a lot too, because I was sort of like raised up in comedy a lot too. So I was raised with British and American humor. And I tend to find like now it's sort of almost a lot of comedians have just almost turned to sort of like political dialogue rather than actually sort of. Comedy is generally people. One of the definitions of comedy is tragedy plus timing, but now it tends to be like sort of people's pushing this sort of political ideology. And instead of like where comedy, from when I was raised up, was about sort of laughing at the human condition or how absurd life can be and making observations at that. So it's, I think it's just the reason why comedy is like that is just because censorship around the world, it's just how it is now. We know why censorship is happening, but it's obviously leaked into one of the last, as I said, pillars of free speech.
I don't know. It just is.
Well,
They always said that, they used to make fun of China here in the States and in Canada, saying, oh, you guys can't talk about this, you guys can't talk about that. I think now it's the other way around. You guys have more free speech than we do here.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, I was making fun of that to people because, look, I copped a lot of shit coming here.
I can imagine.
And yeah, I copped a lot of shit coming here, and I sort of saw things unfolding in the West around about. Not as much as when I first came here, but I would say that after around about 5-6 years of arriving in China, I started to see things unraveling in the West. Now, is there censorship over here? Absolutely. But is there censorship over in the West? Absolutely. Just as much. It's just over here, they just tell you outright, you can and can't say this, and that's it, and here's why. But over in the West, it's like they still cloak it under the certain guise of free speech or hate speech. In Australia, we just unravelled it where it looks like we're implementing this new law. And the first thing, it's called anti-Semitism.
Semitism?
Yeah, that's right.
There we go.
That plus hate speech, and then you can sort of see like in Australia now. So the new law, how that plans out is that one, it doesn't need to be in a court. Okay, so it's a government agency, it's a government department that actually sort of defines and decides about what it is and what it isn't. So it's not like you get charged for something and a jury decides. Two, it's outside of any sort of jurisdiction. So you can be an Australian citizen, but you can be outside of the country and still participate in something like that. And then and they can decide, and then you're still liable for that type of thing. So it's obviously it's just the overreach is insane.
Yeah, but now, even what I heard was,
if I told people like,
yeah. No, I was just going to say that from what I've heard with China compared to here is that, okay, there you can't talk about the government, whatever, understandable. But even the other day when Brian was hosting a channel, there was a girl on here from China, and she was like, and she was serious, she wasn't joking or anything. She was like, oh yeah, we have a lot of chocolate face here in our country, and we can't say that here without somebody being like, holy shit, you're so racist. But over there, you can say that, right? It's no big deal. She wasn't like embarrassed about it or anything.
I was watching a video. This black guy went to China, and a Chinese guy said to him, "You're really dark," and he got offended. Is that in China? Is that taboo to say that to a black guy?
Yeah, it generally, look, the thing is, over in China, people don't give a shit. Like, if you've put on a bit of weight, people will literally come up to you and say, you've gotten fat.
Yeah.
You know, like not people don't give a shit, mate. Like that's the whole thing. Look, it does sort of go weird in some ways. So, for example, if I'm at a dinner, right, I can criticize my own country. You can criticize this country, right? But there's a way to do it and a way not to do it. So one way that I'll do it is that I simply say, listen, if you have to make a choice, do you want freedom or do you prefer safety? Okay. And people will go, all right, listen, you know, because they will say China is the safest country in the world. And I go, absolutely. But then I ask them, look, which is your absolute choice if you had to choose one between freedom or safety? And they go, let's say safety. I go, yes, good. Now, if you want safety, you have to give up some personal rights. Okay. Now, if you also want freedom, there's also a risk with that, is that you have to give up the chance of some sort of safety as well. Okay. So you know you have to sort of say it, but not in such a direct way. Now, I've had to do some media things over here just because of like anyway, long story. And like being invited through like an official capacity to do sort of media interviews. You can't say any of that, right? You have to just basically say exactly what would be what they say. Don't try to present it in any other way, you know. I mean, and
why? But why?
oh, well, okay. Here's their reason. Here's their reasoning, because China promotes social stability amongst anything else. Okay. Now, do I disagree or do I agree with it? I don't know. Well, I mean, obviously, I disagree in a lot of things, but I could see their reasoning, because if you see, like, I would never want people to vote over here. No way. Right? Because if you see how people interact on a day-to-day level in traffic, you'd go, holy shit, and you want people to vote? And you know what? In the West, I don't want most people to vote either. I mean, I think there should be a civic test involved before you can vote. You know, you need a license to drive a car. Why should I let anyone decide about the future of their country unless you're a net taxpayer? Like, if you're willing to be drafted, be a net taxpayer.
Yeah, so women shouldn't vote.
True. For the most part.
They're just going to vote left anyways. Women generally tend to vote overwhelmingly left.
Yeah, it will. I mean, it's just because, how do I say this? It's responsibility and authority have to be matched. Okay, so that's the same thing with net taxpayer. If you're not contributing into the system as much as then you're taking out, then you're not. Why should you have certain authority if you're not going to be as responsible? Right?
Exactly.
It's like, yeah. And now, if you've been working all of your life and you've been contributing into the system, that's one thing. If you're a veteran, absolutely. You know, if you're willing to be drafted, which, by the way, anyone in this room right now, don't think that the draft age is between 18 to 40. If you look at the wars in like World War I, World War II, even the Ukraine, there are people in their 60s being drafted. The past previous wars, there were children that were like 14 that were in the war. Okay, so I mean, that by default, it's generally men, okay, that have to do that. So anyway, circling back, what I'm trying to say is that although they don't allow everyone to have a say, I don't believe everyone should have a say over in the West as well. Now, that being said, where my business is actually in a local village. In the village, they actually have elections. They have elections in the village. So it's not as, you know, what people make it out to be, but at the same time it's all fucked up, man. Anywhere you go, it's all messed up. That's what I think.
Well, just the simple fact that women can't get conscripted, that alone, based on that, they shouldn't be able to vote.
Yeah. I mean, it's perhaps, I don't know, but anyway, all I know is that certain things about over here, So as far as all I know is over here is that I wouldn't want voting over here because, it's also not in their culture. It's just that they tend to always, if you look at their current leadership and their model right now, it's still basically the old thing of having an emperor, right? So that's just how they're used to.
Yeah, but they can't vote there anyways.
Sorry?
They can't vote in China.
In the village, in the elections, there are elections in certain villages. Yeah, sure. I know that in my local village, there's elections going on right now.
But so what is it
That's
for?
why,
Like, is it for like a mayor or what? What is it in the village?
Yeah, local leader. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're
But
talking
in the large cities, absolutely not. I mean, and the thing is, as I said, I would say like a basic social barometer is how people interact on traffic, like in traffic, because traffic is the basic thing of how strangers interact on a mass scale. And if you see that people just basically treat each other like shit, and there's no awareness, it's like, mate, well, you can't let people just run around and do whatever they want. Like, that's why they value stability so much, is because when there's 1.3 billion, shit goes south really fast. And that's how COVID ended so fast as well, because it was almost like a Scooby-Doo mystery. Like, everyone sort of didn't know why COVID ended suddenly, and I can tell you why, is because over here, there were so many protests on the streets. Right? There was so many protests, so much, and there was so much being released by people's social media channels, they couldn't censor it in time. So much shit was going out, and there was so many calls to step down that literally it went from QR codes, masks, double masks, daily testings that took hours, not knowing if your door was going to get kicked in and taken away, to literally waking up the next day and it's like none of this shit even existed. So protests and like on that scale, because of the amount of people, it can be dangerous. All right.
But also over there, they don't really have cash, do they?
No, mate, I haven't used cash in my whole business. My business hasn't even touched cash in years.
It's like RMB, right?
Yeah, RMB, but they use WeChat.
Yeah, it's all on your WeChat, and your WeChat has. You catch taxis, order food, you can get social security, pay your utilities. Like, in your WhatsApp, if you guys talk in WhatsApp, you can send money to each other in your WhatsApp chat to each other in groups. Like, you have your own personal QR code. I mean, look, my friend, I just went traveling. I think I already told you guys this story. We went to a convenience store.
Yeah, but hold on. You said in WhatsApp, you can send cash to each other, but basically WeChat, you have your whole life on there, don't you? You have your social insurance or whatever, your driver's license. Isn't everything on WeChat?
No, that's what I'm saying. So, like, say for example, if you guys are having a chat in WhatsApp, right?
Yeah. Between
you and each other, I can send you cash through the chat.
Yeah.
I don't need to open up another ad. I can just send you directly cash through the chat. Right, and it's even gone one step further. So when I was traveling with my mates the other day, we were at a convenience store buying stuff. Right, I go, just pull out your WeChat, click give cash, and then your QR code comes, and then you scan it at the convenience store. He goes, no, watch this. My friend just pulls out his fucking hand and swipes it over the thing, and then he just paid for it because he was able to connect his biometrics to his account through his WeChat.
But is there a chip or what? How does that work?
No chip in his hand.
So from his fingerprint?
Yeah, something like that, or through his palm or whatever. They did something, yeah.
But how do they have the record of his fingerprint to begin with?
Yeah, because you got to upload it and you got to secure it all on there.
Oh,
no, mate, mate. The whole thing about you need a chip in your hand, that's bullshit.
Okay, but
Okay,
what happens if you lose your phone?
Sorry?
What happens if you lose your phone?
I mean, if you lose your phone, like your phone number, that doesn't mean you don't have your phone number anymore.
No, like your phone. Like say somebody steals your phone, can they use all your information and buy stuff off your phone?
No.
Why, isn't it like tap or something?
Yeah. So, like, if someone takes your phone, they'll open your WeChat and then they can press, like, like then they can press like, I'll pay for something and at a shop, and then your QR code comes up and then you swipe it. But like everything is tracked so much. If you report it, they'll just bring up the security camera in that shop and they'll know who it is, and that's it. It's done.
So if somebody steals your phone and transfers whatever onto their phone, they'll
They
get
can't
caught, right?
transfer. Yeah, you can't transfer.
Because there's a
You can make
trace.
an in-shop. Yeah, because you still need to
Yeah.
enter a PIN code.
Yeah.
But like, there's like another example of like a convenience store. So like, there's convenience stores that are 24/7 and they're automated with no people in them. So, for example, I had to go buy ciggies the other day, like for a party, right? So, and it was late at night. The front door's closed. So what you got to do is you got to use your WeChat to scan the code on the door, and then it's connected to your ID. So therefore, the door unlocks. And there's just a convenience shop with security cameras in it. There's everything's open. You can go behind the counter where the ciggies are. You can go there, get anything you want. You can just put it on the table. Then you scan it, and then you just swipe it with your phone.
But that's what I'm
And then
saying.
once
That's what I'm saying. China is so much more advanced and more secure than Canada and the States and Europe even. People would never. Who's going to think of doing that here? Never. You'd right away think that you're going to rob the place, guaranteed.
Yeah, that's right. But the thing is, like, after you do that, and then the transaction's done, the door will unlock, right, and then you can leave. So what happens is that actually there are people living on the second floor and they're monitoring the cameras, right? So, I mean, it's advanced, but what I'm saying is that for this convenience and safety, there is a cost.
So they cannot just take it and go. The door locks once they're in the store.
Yeah, you can't do that.
And then once they pay, the door unlocks.
Yeah. Once it pays, it unlocks and it's verified, then the door unlocks. Yeah.
Well, that's smart, man.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like in China, I mean, people, like, it's a high trust society because shit is monitored so hard, and people appreciate that because of the convenience and safety, but they just don't recognize what they give. And this is what I was talking about between freedom and safety, right? So in like, say for example, in the States, you wouldn't be able to do this, but at the same time, there's a lot of other things that you guys are able to enjoy.
But in China, they don't have guns either, do they?
Absolutely not. No.
So even the cops don't have guns?
They do. Yeah, they do.
But no civilians has guns.
Correct.
Because when you ever hear of a murder or something, it's like with a knife.
Correct.
So what happens if somebody has a gun? They go straight to jail, or what happens to them?
Depending. I mean, like they don't fuck around. It's very hard. Look, that's another story. It's jail time. There's no jail time or death or whatever. I mean, to get guns in China is some serious. Look, there was a time, okay, because the thing is, dude, like, well, I've been here 20 years, so when I first came here, man, like, shit was pretty wild. Man, there was some crazy stuff going on. So I don't appreciate, like, the lack of freedoms in a lot of way, okay? I just accept for what's happened is right now. Okay, because I'm just locked in and my business is here, my life's here, my dogs are here. I can't just pack up and go. Like, it's not a game of cards, right? So I just have to sort of roll with it for the time being. When I first got here, like, shit was pretty wild. Like, there was a lot of wild stuff you could do and get your hands on. It was a lot more free, but at the same time, you have to accept a lot of risk.
So what's easier to get in China, or what's easier to get in China, gun, or like say cocaine, or neither?
I don't know. See, I'm so far removed from any of that. Like, I think it probably depends where you are in China. I think probably the closer you go towards the north of China, towards central, the harder it is. So generally, like, if you're more in the south of China, things can be a little bit more liberal. but if the closer you are towards central Beijing, more restricted and more controlled things are. And
So are there
yeah,
pockets in China of like a mafia, say Chinese mafia?
yeah, they're definitely not as much, nowhere near as much it was like when I first came here. So like China went through a huge cleanup, and they just cleaned up, mate, it was a massive cleanup. Like people just got, you'll find like a lot of the Chinese mafia operates outside of the mainland, and they can bring their money back into China or leave it outside of China. You know?
Okay, got it. Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty interesting, man. Like, but when I first got here, man, it was like that's what I'm saying. Like with the amount of people, and there are like when things get crazy, they get really crazy. Like things can get out of hand really fast.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I guess like anywhere is just a part. What about homeless situation? Is there any homeless people in China?
Yeah, they can be. You don't see them that much. I mean, China's pretty interesting in the sense that because it's still pretty hard, like family based.
Mm.
Like now there's starting to be more and more retirement homes. Now there's starting to be more and more of this, but it's pretty common for grandparents to still be with their grandchildren and like living together, and you know, people like, you know, as elderly parents, they still live with their children. Like, I mean, it's becoming less and less like that now, but there's still a strong sense of family, man. I mean, that's one thing that I give it to the Chinese is that they're still holding on to certain traditions that a lot of people in the West have abandoned because of the development and the convenience, right? But now China is changing like that, you know.
But this is what I was telling you the other day when we were talking about it, that Serpensa clown with his sea milk buddy and everything, bashing China. Like they were saying it also, and they were showing videos. Again, I don't know if this is true or if this is made up green screen bullshit. Like even a lot of live streamers under the bridge. Did you see any of that stuff over there?
They're based in the south of China. I'm based in the north of China. So as I said, like I'm next to central.
Okay.
So as you get closer to central, things tend to be, you know, they really tighten down. I'm pretty sure, like if you're in the south of China, like towards HK, you could see all kinds of shit. Like, you know, I've seen some stuff in the south, like even when I travel down in the south of China, I'm like, man, that would never fly in the north. Like they wouldn't.
Like what, for example?
Like, okay, so I was in Huizhou the other day, right? And there's like this, it's not like a biker gang, as in like a crime bike, but it's one of the biggest biker gangs, not a gang, but the biker organizations in the world. It's like a South American one called, anyway. I saw like this dickhead walking around, like this foreigner walking around with like the biker jacket, the name, and like the China branch, like the China thing. I'm like, bro, if you did that in the north, they will fucking just pick you up and they will throw you and go, I don't think so. Like you got to have everything registered and done, and they'll go like, what are you doing, setting up organizations? I don't think so. Get fucked. They don't fly like that, mate.
So it all depends on the region you're in.
I reckon definitely. You know, like I mean, in the south, things can get pretty crazy pretty fast. Right, but the thing is, when you get closer towards central, mate, there's zero tolerance for bullshit, mate. They will zero tolerance, mate. They will find you, lock you down, and that's it.
So if there would be like a mafia type thing, it'd more be in the south than in the north.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Correct.
So where did you go in the south?
I was in like Huizhou, which is above Shenzhen, and Shenzhen is just above HK.
Oh, that's very close to where my wife was from there. Have you ever been to, do you know Shanwei?
Shanwei? I don't know.
It's right beside, what did you call it, Huizhou? Huizhou, however you say it?
Huizhou.
Yeah, she's right beside there.
Oh, okay.
So what did you do down there?
Oh, I was just like partying with friends. We just got a house because Huizhou is really good by the sea. They got awesome. They got good beaches, and it's a good place to be.
And fish, I guess, right?
Yeah, because like even though it's like winter, it's the dead of winter. It's man, you can still walk around in a t-shirt.
And the hot springs and everything else, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think they've got that. But I was by the beach.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So when was the last time? I mean, you've been to China, obviously, right? Or
Myself, no, I've never been. She came
gotta
here.
come to-
She came here in 2014 or 2013? 2014. Hasn't been back since, but we are planning to go.
dude, you gotta come. Dude, you gotta come.
Yeah, but you're way the fuck up north.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, like, even if we don't meet, I'm just saying, dude, you just gotta like.
Well, it's a
people
totally
ask me
different
like, what
experience, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. People say like, "What's it like?" It's like, man, what you just got to see it with your own eyes. Like, it's just.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched again. I watch more pro China than those stupid idiots. But from what I've seen, it's like, yeah, it's a totally different world.
It is, and like, I mean, obviously, I'm sure your wife, like, she was originally, Chinese, so she would have experienced like, good and bad, and there's always two sides to everything, right? So, and that's the same thing with me, is that I wouldn't have spent half my life here if I didn't, if I'm not passionate about this country.
Yeah, where are you again? Are you in Tianjin? Was it or?
Yeah, Tianjin. Yeah, Tianjin.
Tianjin.
Yeah.
So that's way up there, right?
That's next to Beijing.
So is that close to Harbin?
No, not really.
Harbin's further up. Harbin's getting towards it near Russia.
Okay, so do you get? I guess you get snow where you are.
They do have some.
Yeah.
A lot.
Not that much. Depends. It depends on the sea. It depends on the year.
Okay, like for
Before we
example,
did,
right now,
yeah.
what's the temperature there?
Oh, I don't know, but it's actually, we just went through it just on the Chinese normally calendar. We just went through Lichun. It means it's the official start of spring. So like because China works on two calendars.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the regular calendar, and then they have their like the normally, which is technically the agricultural calendar. And I find the agricultural calendar is way more accurate.
Is it?
Like, yeah, mate. Like, they understand the weather and the nature way better. Like, it's way more accurate. Like, it marks it to the day. Like, where you see changes in temperature and seasons and everything.
I gotcha. And the Chinese New Year is coming up, right?
Yeah, February 17th.
17th, yeah, another week and a half, more or less.
Roberto,
Roberto,
are you guys going to celebrate?
well, we're probably gonna go to a restaurant or something for sure.
Yeah.
But it lasts
Get
like
it up
what,
here,
7 days, or was it 7 days or 10 days?
Yeah.
Again, yeah, it depends on the area too, right?
15 in my town.
Roberto, no problem, man. I hope I didn't overtake the conversation. If you want to ask
Sorry.
any questions, man, ask them too, you know?
I know. We're talking about China too much, man. We can switch it to another topic. So
that's all right. I mean, we've been
I-
on for like 3 hours already. We're talking about so many different things, so figure change it up. Why not?
Okay. Yeah.
Up to you
But I
guys
mean,
on that.
if you ever get the opportunity, is just just come here for a bit and just check it out,
And then never want to come back. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that, man. Like, I mean, the thing is, you'll always be a visitor here. Like, I mean, mate, I've been here 20 years, mate. I'm always a visitor. Like, people, I can never be.
But didn't you say
you always-
also it was difficult for you when you first went there because you didn't understand a lick of Chinese?
Yeah, man, yeah.
So isn't that really
Like,
tough? Is all the writing there
I
in
got
Chinese?
Yeah. Like, I got here before WeChat. So, like, dude, like, I remember walking around with a paperback dictionary. Like, I remember the first time getting into a cab, there was no like software for like,
No Uber, no
Uber.
nothing. Yeah.
No, none of that shit. So when you had to get into a cab, and you didn't speak Chinese, you had to actually remember the fucking roads, sit in the front seat, and point with your hand.
Yeah, there's no other way.
And oh, dude, mate, I remember the first time I got into a taxi by myself, I almost shit bricks.
But what about in a subway? There's no English at all.
There is now.
Yeah, there is now. Yeah. Like, if you're in the South, it's not going to be an issue. And you got translation software and, like,
Yeah,
even the Chinese
she's called my
apps,
wife.
like,
My translation software is my
Yeah.
wife. So
You're gonna pay me.
yeah.
That's why it was.
yeah.
But so,
it's pretty,
I guess now, yeah, there's a lot more stuff in English. I mean, back then, like you
Yeah.
said, without the phones and everything else, it'd be really fucking impossible. As a tourist, anyway.
China's, like, really made an effort, particularly after COVID, to return to get its tourism back to its original levels because it dropped off so badly. So, like, after COVID, you start to realize, like, they've got all these visa-free sort of arrangements with a lot of countries, and then they've sort of made things like SIM cards and transactions a lot more friendly because it is all based on WeChat.
Mm-hmm.
So they've made, like, integrations with international cards because of that, which is really interesting. Like, they're really making an effort, but, like, once again, they want the economical factor, but like there's still, like, a certain. There's still other factors which people's like, yeah, you can make it as convenient as we want, but there's still some, base things that people are a little bit still skeptical about.